How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grandpa's Workshop. Well, I hate to say it, but the sun is out this morning. Geez, I hope nobody heard that. Anyways, I'm taking advantage of a dry day because it's been doing nothing but raining. When it wasn't raining, it was pouring for the last week and a half. But anyway, today in Grandpa's Workshop, we have a little project in Nannie's garden. Last summer, you may remember from a video I posted, we put an irrigation system out there, worked good all summer. Some of the soaker hoses were clogging up, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But one of the things I neglected to do, and I never discovered that until I was letting the water down in the fall, I never put a shut-off valve before my filter. So I wasn't able to change the filter all summer. I'd like to change it, maybe every month, which means two filters in the growing season. But anyways, so the job today, we're going to put a shut-off valve just before the filter in the irrigation system in Nannie's garden. Come on along and have a look. Nannie's garden. And it's the spring. We're getting ready to put her back in service. And it wintered pretty well. You see, we're going to have to do a little delving in them. Bring them back to life, maybe even go get another load of compost and put on the top. My water lines I think held up pretty well, although when the box was raised up it pulled the water lines up through the gravel a little bit. And last year, I don't know if you remember or not, but the soaker hoses that I have in each bed, well, they developed some leaks. Soaker hose leaking. That's a good one. No, some splits, I guess is what I should say. Like major leaks. So they weren't soaking too good. And some of them actually weren't soaking too good at all. And I'm thinking maybe because I pump water out of the lake, I get a lot of algae from the lake, and especially when the water gets warm. And I think what was happening is it was plugging off the inside of the soaker hose and preventing it from soaking out just quite the way we'd like it to. But anyway, we're going to try it again this year and make it work. And one of the things I was thinking to try to eliminate some, maybe the algae or the growth or whatever from coming up to the water from the lake, was over here where I have my supply valve for the garden watering. When I put this in last year, in my brilliance, I even put a filter in it. Look at that. As you can see that, there's a filter there. The filter canister's not on it right now. I took it off for the winter. The filter goes here. But what I neglected to do, in my wisdom, I neglected to put a shut-off valve here. So I'm going to install a shut-off valve in there today. So I'm hoping you can see this okay. What I've got here is, this is the, it's a half-inch water line, black plastic pipe coming into the filter housing and then out to the garden. So I have this shut-off valve, and I want to install it right there next to, so what I want to do is I'm going to cut this line and remove this fitting, put that in there, and then put that gear clamp back on the black plastic pipe and stick it on the end of this. Okay, so that was pretty simple. So I'll install it that way, I think. Okay, so first thing to do is I need to cut the pipe. And during this video, if you hear some heavy breathing, don't shut the video down. It's just me. It's not what you're thinking. So I'm going to cut this pipe right about there. Okay, then I'm going to take this out of here, if I can. It's one of those springtime jobs, that you dream about doing all winter. Say, geez, I'll be glad when the winter changes so I can get out there and do that job. And then when the spring comes, you say, oh man, do I have to go out and do that? Pliers. Wrong size fitting. Okay, I'll be back. Alright then, so you know what the story is on plumbing, right? No matter when you do it, or where you do it, or how you do it, or how well you plan and prepare, it's going to mess up on you. It's one of the rules of plumbing. Anyways, you saw when I was trying to get that in there, my valve was the wrong size fitting on it. I bought a 1/2 inch valve. Well, it didn't fit. The outlet of the filter is a 1 inch thread. So I have a 1 inch close nipple here, and I'm going to tighten that up. Oh, the other thing I had to do was I had to take the whole filter housing and valve assembly right off the shelf so I could work at it. Big surprise. Anyways, oh, wait till I adjust these. I'm going to put this close nipple in here, and you don't want to make it so tight that it's going to break anything, but you don't want it to leak, so that's tight enough. I also put Teflon tape and everything, FYI. Now, this is overkill, but I have a 1 inch gate valve. So I'm going to thread that on there. If I can get this wrench on it, and I can't. And another thing about when you're doing plumbing, like I'm out in the yard now away from the shop, so of course you never have enough tools. And one trip back to the shop you think, well, that would be alright, but like this will be about my 6th trip back to the shop. And the shop's not that far away, don't get me wrong, but it's a pain. Alright, so there's my setup. Now, this fitting that came out of the housing first off will thread right in there. So now all I have to do is take this piece of black pipe off there, put all this together, stick her back in there, heat up the tubing, slide her back on, put the gear clamp on it. So now I'll just snug that up. You know, I don't know if I'm like everybody else, but over the years, when I was young starting out, I would just, you know, grab whatever I had for a tool and try to do the job. And, you know, sometimes it would work out, sometimes I'd break stuff or hurt myself or cut my hands or something. Try to get a job done with the right tool. But as you get older, you get wiser, and you say, you know what, the heck with this, I'm going to go buy the proper tool. So here I am, in my autumn years, putting all this plumbing together with a pair of vice grips. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you got, buddy, use it. Oh man, what are you going to do? Anyway, look, I can't even get the bit out. It ain't easy being green. Okay, so we take that fitting off of there. Oh yeah, you know what? Of course I don't have it. Another trip to the shop. I'm going to go in and get my knife so I can cut this off. And yeah, I'm going to be a little forward thinking. I'm going to get the torch too so I can heat up that pipe and slide it on here good and easy. I ain't a fool. Well, there's the torch. I went in the shop for another trip and to bring out the torch and the knife. There's the torch. I was halfway back out here. I remembered I forgot my knife. So, I'm telling you boys, getting old. She's pretty fun. What I'm doing is I'm just scoring the edge of this black pipe. The black pipe is, once you get a mark in it, it'll break pretty easy. And plus, this is very thin wall black pipe. You see that? We're going to open this valve all the way. And I think I'll reinstall this now. Put that back on. And then I'll slide my gear clamp over the black pipe and then put the black pipe on here and tighten her up. So this feeds in through there. It hangs in the filter holder. And then I have a screwdriver, which I had to go back to the shop to get. So then this just screws in here. There's not much to put this back together. So that valve is open. Okay, so we put the gear clamp on with the screw adjustment on the outside so I can get at it. Our valve is on the top. So now I'm going to take my propane torch and I'm going to gently heat this black pipe just to soften it up. Because it's such a thin wall pipe, it's not going to take a whole pile of heat like you would normally put on a piece of tubing, but I'll just heat this a little. That ought to do it. I'm not sure how good you saw all that because my arm was kind of in the way, but that's what happens. Okay, so I think that's got her. So this valve is open. Okay, so there we have it. We've got the disconnect valve on and the water filter in place, and not looking too bad. I do have a little bit of a leak, so I'm going to have to do some work with that, but that's nothing serious. We'll get that fixed up. Anyway, so there's the shut off for the water filter and the garden irrigation system. This line goes down underground over to the garden. So after multiple trips back and forth from the shop out to the barn, out to the greenhouse in the garden, which isn't that far, I shouldn't complain about it, but I do. After multiple trips, I was able to put a valve in there. So now it's going to be easy to change the filter. You just shut the valve off at the filter housing, then remove the filter and replace it, clean it, put it back on. So that should work good, and hopefully it's going to cut down on some of the slime and sludge that I think is clogging up my soaker hoses. So anyway, quick little job there for the garden, getting ready to put the water on. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like it. Thumbs up me if you did, and we'll talk to you soon.